I call Alistair Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in support of this omnibus bill, which deals with a series of regulatory changes regarding commercial matters for one, building and housing for second, and workplace relations thirdly. And without wanting to repeat the information that's already been given to the House, I did find it quite amusing, Mr. Lees-Galloway explaining the person, the people, the corporate entity, the trustee, and I found it quite ironic that it was to clarify what was actually in the bills at the moment, and this whole purpose of this thing is to make it easier and simpler and clearer for the reader to understand who is liable for what. So I found that quite ironic and interesting. But anyway, these regulations are there to clarify, update, remove duplication, and remove unnecessary compliance costs, because as we know, regulations are important. We need to have them to ensure people do understand what is appropriate behaviour, appropriate rules, and we need to make sure that they're clear for people to understand. This side, we are always interested in making things more efficient and effective, and I'd like to mention the Rules Reduction Task Force, which is an initiative from Minister Bennett, doing exactly that, looking at ways to tidy things up, make things more efficient, and hear from the people around what are some of those rules and regulations that are ineffective and are duplications. So, Mr. Speaker, these regulations relating to this bill relate, and I'd just like to pick up on ones that relate to the Parental Leave and Employment Protection Act. So, that is relating to preterm babies. It is quite confusing. It also restricted the mother from the start time of her paid parental leave. So this enables the date to be more flexible and more realistic regarding the actual act of having a preterm baby. So that's a good thing. That's just one example of the clarification of the rules around this bill that are so necessary and so important. The other is, of course, the area where Mr. Lees-Galloway attempted to clarify that the person wasn't actually the company, which is normally the accepted practice. It wasn't the partnership. It was actually the people behind those entities that are in breach or that are liable for the actions of the person per se. So with that, Mr. Speaker, I commend this omnibus bill. There's something that needs to be clarified. An ominous omnibus bill to the House.